Everybody is going to feel different things about it. Some people are going to take it for their agenda. Some people are going to understand it. Other people are going to try to, but some things are going to be misunderstood. There's always going to be that opportunity if you don't fully explain yourself. And I was talking with Blue Pill earlier how important it is, when you have soundbite realities, and when a lot of people are living based on soundbite realities where all they want is, they don't want to do real research. Their attention span is too small. So they get aggressive over small points. It's like Twitter is created for small soundbite realities. Anytime you have to condense your point to, a few characters, you can never fully add in empathy and understanding. You understand me? So it's really for your own tribe to be sitting there and listening to you because they already get the context in which you come from. So I was explaining, I'm like, you see all of the energy that's surrounding, this whole BLM thing and stuff like that. I'm like, well, people 20 years from now probably wouldn't understand this. They may look at the things that people say and the things that people do, the statements that they make, but they won't understand it unless you're able to live right now and feel this frustration, to feel this eruption of energy, to understand the context of all of the events that have been taking place now. So even in history, you can't fully appreciate or understand perspectives, statements made unless you were living at that time. So that's why it's important to be present. You understand me? And so I try to make sure that when we speak, the follow-up is context, right? And that's what we do with high-level conversations. This is the greatest show that's out for our people, right? Because the awards, right? If you go to look at the award shows, they put people, whether you're doing something positive or negative, you're in the same competition as somebody else. So you can have a song that can be positive for our people, right? And somebody can have a song that can be degrading for our people, but they're going for the same awards. And so somebody thinks another artist is better because they won over the other, but it had nothing to do with morality. So context is always lost in the culture because we award negative and positive, right, for the same thing. So it's very important that we understand reality in different ways. So, when you have to make a standard and create separations for those very reasons. You understand me? So we at this point now where we have to say, well, if it's not godly, it's not good, it's not positive or progressive, then it don't matter. Because a nigga can be good at negativity. You can be good at degradation. But when it comes to, and this is where a lot of the entertainment community is not good at right now, they're not good at things that are positive or progressive. They don't know how to make that switch because you've tapped in, and the metrics on how you measure yourself is always on how you're going to tap into some negative energy and how you're going to cultivate that for attention, right? And money and capitalization. So when you don't even have the ability to tap into good and use that to create light, to create success, right? Then you also feel threatened by those who do, because you know that what they're doing is better for the people than you. It's like a person that can cook food that is good for you versus a chef that can only cook pork or beef. You understand me? Or junk food. Well, this chef, he cooks it just as good as you, but it's actually good for me. The other chef, they cook great too, taste-wise, but it's not good for me. So you can't compare these two chefs. These are non-comparable, because just by making something that is good for you is already better than a person that can make something that tastes better. So if you can also make something that tastes good, that is of good quality and good taste, and the substance of it is good as well, then you actually are tenfold higher. This is what you have done. This is where the culture has to change its grading system of success. This is the ascension where we look at things completely different. So you can't judge a person who taps into negative energy of the world and be like, well, his did more numbers, or they sold more albums, or their restaurant is better, or their channel was more popping. Yes, of course it's going to be. I make this statement a lot. As You know, a person really showing their ass, right, or their breast is more value than a person giving you genius thoughts, intellectual property, right? Visionaries, more important than inventions and innovation. I know this for a fact because I know brothers who do those things and sisters who do those things, but they aren't as valued as somebody who can simply come on camera and seduce you. So the metrics is not the same for success. So what we're looking at, most of our culture, what we look at successful, is we're looking at people who learn how to cultivate negativity or cultivate these dark energies. And because the world is built on that, they're able to add to the collective negativity in the world, the collective darkness in the world, that collective low energy in the world, and they're able to find their place. So brothers like myself, we have to do 100 times more work to get it done. So I don't compare myself, because it's like, come on, man, you know, to be a guide in the devil's world and be successful requires another level of thinking that you couldn't even comprehend. Come on, man, you telling me that this is not aligned with corporate messaging? This is not aligned with media? This is not aligned with a mainstream thought? This is not aligned with mainstream political views? This is not aligned with none of that. Yet we still find a way. How much thinking, how much strategy, how much research, how much alchemy, how much transcendence does it take to create success as a god in the devil's world? Think about that. You understand me? Because that person could be in this world, because success should not be measured by he able to make money because the devil go pay you for demeaning your people. No, it should be successful. And that I get to maintain my health, my happiness, my freedom, my ability to think straight, be clear, right? Way more successful. So when a lot of you all may not know how successful you are at reality, because you may be grading how much you can be rewarded by the devil. You understand me? You grading your success based on how you can be awarded and rewarded by the devil. No, listen, just the fact you got your mind and you focus on the right path, and you're working to strive to go against societal norms, that gives you a different level of success, because the devil will give you 10 times more in his world. You understand me? Because the currency of negativity is worth more than currency of positivity in his world. Now, in the internal one, the currency of doing positivity far outweighs negativity. So the internal world is different than the external. In the internal world, when you do good, you get rewarded. That's why a person that does negativity, they try to balance it out with charity, right? They try to balance it out with doing good. They try to balance it out with getting their mind back right, because they're trying to get their internal world together, because they feel like they bankrupt. On the outside, they can buy anything they want. On the inside, they is empty. They empty. So you have to focus on where you want your success to be. You know, in the BWO, we're focusing on both. We want the internal and the external success, but the internal is reflective of external. How many people have had to try to create, it bothers a man, as they say, to gain the world, but to lose yourself. So I don't want you all to think you're not successful. No, you're way stronger and you're way powerful. It's just that you have a moral compass that doesn't allow you to get rewarded by the devil. That's just the facts. You're doing good while somebody else is doing negativity, and you making comparisons. Y'all not comparable, B. You already of a higher regard. You already of a higher light. You already of a higher ascension, because you've made a decision to not go the easy path and the easy route. That's like comparing somebody that goes into the gym and every day they picking up 10-pound weights. Man, they got them 10-pound weights and they able to do 100 reps and 100 sets. And you go in there and you pick up the 100-pound. You understand me? But yet you can only do 5 reps. You understand me? Maybe 5 sets. It's not comparable. It's not the same. because the weight that you have is heavier. So it requires you to have more strength. You understand me? No, the devil these niggas out here, they getting rewarded for doing no work. They getting rewarded for doing his work. So these things, shout out to MG the mortgage guy on the check-in, man. These things are way more important, and this is where I want you all to quantify your level of success and your measure of value in different ways. You can't quantify it based on the way of the world. You have to quantify it based on the way of God. You dig? So I go and I say, okay, what does the work that I do mean in God to God? You understand me? That's different. What does the work I do mean to God? You mean as a black man, I wake up every day and I teach other people? You mean I take care of my family? All right? You mean that I've turned my life around from criminality and doing negativity to only pushing something that's good and progressive? You mean that I spend all of my brain power thinking of ways that I can progress and further my people and the people of the world and create things and organizations that's geared towards that? That got to be worth a lot. And that's why I feel so light. Because all of my money is connected to my purpose. It's all connected to good. It ain't connected to no negativity. The products that I sell, it ain't junk food products. I got products that are supposed to stimulate the mind and the body. So we selling products that make a person healthier. Shout out to CEO Matty J on the check-in. So this is different. No, wait a minute. What's your channel about? You get millions of views. Well, my millions of views are about intellectual stimulation, taking people to a higher level. Wait a minute. Somebody else got 100 million views, but theirs is about all the drill rap and killing and murdering that happens in our community, and they capitalizing on Black death. Or you know, something else, escapism and things that don't matter. You know how much harder it is to get our people to watch and get millions of views on topics that are positive, that are relevant, that are enlightening. It's different. It's not the same. So I don't measure my success by nobody else because, listen, as much as it'll make sense for people to reach out and be like, Keys, yo, you getting 1 million views. Can I pay to become a sponsor on that? No. When a person get 1 million views for negativity, we have an automatic track that we even reward people for more devilish things. Damn, bro got 1 million, but I'll never reach out to him to ask if I can help fund the show. But bro then got 1 million, man, I paid him 25,000, I paid him 30,000, I paid him 50,000. I want to advertise on this. Why? Because we haven't learned to value godliness. We ain't learned to value, you understand me, good yet. And we don't realize it, that we have the same system. So when I say the devil rewards you, I'm talking about how we reward people. We reward people with our attention. We reward people with our money. We reward people with our support. We don't even realize that we are the devils in the way that we reward people for doing devilish things. Because that's the way that the world has been set up. We didn't even realize it. Right? So when somebody do something negative and everybody watches it, we like, oh shit, I'm rewarding them with my attention. So we are supporting them at the same time, whether you think it or not. But then somebody does something good and you give it no attention. Well, who's been rewarded? You understand me? You got to understand the dynamics of reality. So when I talk about, I'm like, yo, the economic community, it's not the financial community. This is the economics we talk. Economics is warfare. Our brothers, you got MG Mortgage guys, CEO Matty J, they teach people how to build businesses, how to develop their gifts. Right? They're not, but there's no award show in the community for that. I see him 500 was talking about it. You know, y'all, I've been talking about it, but it's the person who does it that matters, right? You know, and I believe that him 500 don't be like talking too much. He be doing shit. So I would love to see that brought out. And I got some other things that I want to do for it, because you have to create culture around it. You actually have to reward people for doing good so that it grows the culture, so that it shifts the paradigm, so people want to do more rewarding things. You dig? Now, it's one thing to get internal validation from self. It's another thing for a brother to be like, man, how the fuck am I out here doing this? But these niggas getting rewarded. How are these niggas on the show and these niggas don't do nothing but negativity, and every day I wake up trying to motherfucking forge out of fire. You understand me? Some path in some way. I get it. I get the struggle because I've been there. Right? And a lot of people don't understand that. they can't get it. They can't wrap their mind around it, because you got to realize that the people that are used to this cycle, they go give all of the money, all the rewards, everything to nigga shit. And they say, well, I got to now because it's now, that's my business now. I don't know how to reward y'all for doing godliness. So what y'all seeing in real time with like Earn Your Leisure and MG and CEO Matty J, different people starting to get some measurement of awards and rewards, this is a shift starting to happen, but not there. It's not there. It's starting to happen, but it's not there. So he said, man, I seen y'all on the Breakfast Club. That's not even the machine doing that. That was me and my brothers at Earn Your Leisure partnership that made that reality possible. The machine didn't pick that up, so it has to be intentionality by how we connect the dots to change the machine. Because the machine don't progress on its own, because the machine is well working and oiled. But now what you got to understand is things are changing in this land. I go to the talent agent and I'm talking to them and they like, well, listen, man, rappers ain't selling out shows the same way. They said the rock stars ain't selling out shows the same way. They said, well, y'all got the power. Y'all got the community. We want to get behind people like y'all because y'all can fill up the theaters. Y'all can fill up the stadiums. You understand me? The shift is in. He said, y'all got the community. Y'all got the ear to the people. I say, you know what? This is dope, because I say, you know, the difference between what we got and what they got. I say, see, a rapper, they do one city, and you got to change the whole rules around this shit when you're talking about it. The rules have changed, y'all. The rules are not the same, and this was why I like the game and where it's going. I said, listen, see, a rapper, if they do a show in one city, they're going to tell you, well, now you can't oversaturate that market, because who's going to come back and hear a rapper or a singer or artist do the same show? It's the same thing with a comedian. You heard the jokes. I can't laugh the same because I already heard it. I need some time, but you got to come back with new material. This is what I need y'all to understand, is that when you are a thought leader like myself and my brothers, if I do one show one day, the next show will be completely different. Because I'm never operating off the same material. I can go to every city and every time, same way every time I do a live is different. Every time we do a high level is different. I got unlimited material. What does that mean? That means that the value is way higher. Because what you got is one person selling one product, but a person can only buy that product once. No, every time we come, the product changes. So every time you come, you get a different experience. So you can't be, well, I went Saturday, I ain't going Sunday. No, you got to go both days to get the value of both days. So they like, I get that. The business model is different. The business model is different. Now you got to change the business. But a lot of times we be operating in models, right, of the old, and they trying to fit and see how we fit inside. It's like, no, you have to change the whole business model and thinking around me. I'm a different type of commodity. I'm a different type of value. It's different, like LaRussell will say. That's why LaRussell can sell albums before they come out and make more than some of the top artists in the world. Because instead of selling 1 million records, you should be focused on making $1 million, which changes your business model. Come on, man. Can I get an amen? Oh, man. It's much easier to make $1 million than sell 1 million records. But everybody wants to be in the industry where you got to sell 1 million products to get. Come on, that don't make sense. Why? Because we have new business models. It's 2022. You want me to operate like niggas in the 90s did, the 2000s did, 2005, 2010, 2015, even 2020. Things have changed, my brother. I'm not operating like that. Wait a minute. Come on now. When I learned game, man, and this how I be thinking, it's like, I learned the game that they sell merch packs with streams so that they can fluff their numbers to the top. You telling me we can't do that same thing to sell a book or a shirt with that, connect that to a message, and then you telling me we can't be on the top 100 if we getting the same kind of numbers? But see, we have to do these to break barriers so they understand, bro, this is the new value. Because the average rapper makes $70,000 a year. Average, according to statistics. And most of them make less than that. But we got kids wanting to go for a job that don't even pay 6 figures. So when you say you want to be a rapper and an artist, you're looking at the top 10 and saying, I want to be like them, but the average is getting paid less than 6 figures. How does that make sense? Yet their industry is seen more valuable than ours. How the fuck that makes sense? Investors and entrepreneurs getting paid more than that. And on their own terms, and ain't losing their mind, they got to do a bunch of drugs to maintain. Come on, man. I'm just trying to give you the game on where we at in society. Just that we on an ascension. If that's not a 7-figure job, no. How many rappers the same way? How many athletes? Every athlete ain't getting no LeBron-sized contract. So sometimes you think you're going for the top 10, but actually you're going to end up in the average. How many people you know rap that make 6 figures? I'm not talking about the people you see on TV. I'm talking about the rappers you know. That's a career. That's what rapping is. But how valuable is it? You put it like that, it changes the game. But then they say, okay, well, listen, I want you to be able to do what you do. I just want you to do it the most efficient way possible. How about you learn this Web3 shit? What will Russell do? Oh, he learned Web3. He saw essentially the quality of NFTs, but he didn't have to tell you they were. He just understood the technology, utilized it, and now he's more successful than people that have had careers for 10, 20 years. Because this new age, man, the new age youngsters understand is different over here. We're not operating off old Operation Man Die. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. So I would much rather you say, well, listen, fuck, price versus value is always an important metric to see, right? I create a product, I price my product, and then I decide how much I want to sell, right? Now, not only you create intellectual property, it's becoming more valuable because now you have the ability to leverage it, right? Based on the equity that's within it. So when we talking about equity, it's a different conversation because what we haven't learned to do in this culture is how to leverage equity. Talk to me. You understand me? We still haven't learned how to do that, how to leverage equity. We think that ownership is the highest level. It's not. Control is. Come on now. Control is. See, what most people try to do is they try to keep up 60% of ownership, 51.5% of ownership, 50.1% of ownership so that they can have control and stake. They don't need to own the whole thing. This is what you got to understand in business. It was never about 100% ownership. It was about the controlling stake. Come on, man. Come on, man. Oh, man. I be teaching, man. Come on, man. Come on. Can I get an amen? I can't wait to teach these classes in BWO, man. I can't wait, man. Y'all get this work. You understand me? So I had to think about that. I said, well, why the hell we so fixated on ownership? Because we ain't never controlled nothing. We ain't got to that point. You first have to own something to control it. So what we do and what was taught in stocks is what? Yo, have ownership so that you can participate, right, in the equity of the business so that you can get value from it. But we know we don't have enough collective capital for control. So we used to get mad at white companies for buying black businesses, but they realized that no, business is a product as well that you can sell. That's the key. Business is the product. It's not, a business don't just have products and services. The business itself is a product. You can build the business and you can sell the whole business. Or you can sell interest in the business, but not the controlling stake. It's so many different ways to leverage, and it is important for us to think about entrepreneurship in different ways if we really want to be successful. If we are able to progress. Because entrepreneurship ain't sexy. We making it look sexy a little bit, but let's be honest, entrepreneurship is tough. Especially during times like this where it requires people that is not in for the short score, but people that's in for the long endure. Come on, man. If you in for the short score, that's different. If you in for the long endure, then you are willing to go through everything that entrepreneurship is going to take you through in order to get every reward, right, for your ability to go through it. It's rewarding if you're willing to go through the worst, you can get the best out of it. But some people only want the best and they don't want to go through the worst. We have to stop being the people who are ready to skip all the steps because you're not even worthy, right, of the results of the process if all you want to do is skip steps. I want to have the ability to endure the long process and love it along the way. And even when I don't love it, I want to do it like I love it regardless. Because that is more important than loving it, is doing it like you love it. See, everybody talk about you got to love your work to do your work. You have to work like you love it in order for it to be good work. That's different. Work like you love it is more important than loving your work when you're talking about efficiency. There's going to be times you don't love it, so you're going to work like you don't. Come on, everybody knows that. When you get in business, everybody's not working like they love their work. It's different when you love what you do. So how do you cultivate that spirit of love in your entrepreneurial journey is important. And that requires you to be at a place of peace and truth with yourself. And this is something that is not taught in academia and things of that nature. The mindset around entrepreneurship is more important than anything because you can already have a good business, but you might not have the right mind to develop that business. See, all of us have been sold entrepreneurship. We love it. We want to do our own. We want to go in business. But now the process that we got to get done is, how do I build a lifestyle and a way of life around these passions? How do I have mental and spiritual fulfillment, right? And what is the framework to be mentally and spiritually stable while I work? That's important, B. You can't skip that. I'm here to tell you now, you don't try to skip that, B. Don't do it. It's dangerous. So, the framework that we're teaching in the BWO is just that. Because some of you all just need a mental ascension and your business develops over time. Because that's why I say working in your business will never be as important as working on your business. See, I be needing that reminder myself. I'm like, damn, how many tasks am I doing like I'm an employee? How many tasks am I doing like I'm a boss? See, as an employee, you're going to get burnt out faster. See, this as a boss, there's some things that you might not want to do. I don't feel like talking to this person. I don't feel like firing this person. I don't feel like developing. Nah. See, you can't want to be an entrepreneur and revert back to an employee. That's not how it works. It has to be an evolution of becoming a boss. So that's what I'm working on now is how to master, how to work on the business instead of work in the business. I don't want to work in no business. I want to work on it. BWO or IWS is not the same. The only place where I will be proactively teaching is in the BWO. IWS, you can have access to all of the courses and content and community, but it will no longer be an active live training and teaching. Shout out to everybody that are signed up and the people that are waiting for their approvals as well. But this is an important aspect of it because I see where we're struggling at right now with our thinking of where do I go forward, and you have to double down on your self-investment at this point in period in time. I seen, forget the man's name, white guy, he does sales, and he say, you know, imagine the same amount of money you put in the S&P 500 if you put that in the S&Me 500. I said, oh, he cooking. I said, he cooking. Because the reality of it is, it's true. We know what the S&P 500 gives you quarterly, yearly. Right now it's down. But on the average, it's going to give you a nice little return. We can't even tell you what it's like if I take that same thing and you invest it into self. Right? You invest it into your branding. You invest it into your marketing. Right? You invest it into creative. You invest it into hiring. You invest it into self-education, right? If you invest it into ad spends, right? It wasn't Gary Vee, no. So I said, well, damn, you right. I'm going to get more of a 10. I'm going to get more than 10%. I'm going to get more than 50%. Most likely it's going to be 100% return. But if you never give yourself the opportunity to even know what that's like to completely invest in yourself, then you're always going to be looking for things outside of yourself that are more valuable than yourself. Can y'all understand that? And shit's so important, B. It's key. You always will be looking outside of yourself for things more valuable than yourself when you never fully invest in yourself. Come on, man. But once you invest in yourself, you say, well, shit, all I got to do is double down on that investment. That worked out good the first time. I'm going to do it again. To me, formulas are simple, right? Here's another thing that is important for entrepreneurs. I think the lonely entrepreneur is not the best thing. Entrepreneurs work better when they have a community and people that they can lean on, that can teach them things that they don't know and give them resources that they need. That's why the community aspect of BWO is important, right? When we create chapters, the way we're going to set it up is that, let's say when we get enough members in each city, it develops its own chapter, and we give you the framework to how to run that chapter. So now you're not operating by yourself. You're not learning information by yourself. Not only that, creating events around that where, you know, maybe we go hiking this week and we building up that community sense and that rapport with each other. All these things are necessary. These things are necessary. Shout out to Tall Guy Tycoon and check in. All these things are necessary when you're talking about, you understand me, self-development and business development. That ecosystem that you're a part of is key. You know, I'm able to call some of my brothers when I need some advice, or call my brothers maybe for a favor. I don't call people for favors, right, often or maybe ever. But if I did, I imagine they would say yes. And it's good to even know that a person would say yes. It's good to know that, man, these thoughts that I have, I can't ask the average person. I need to be able to pick up the phone and call somebody, right, to where I don't feel crazy. And so you need people in your pocket to be a part of Discord groups, to be a part of WhatsApp groups, to be a part of Telegram groups. What these do is they connect us so we don't have to be alone during this fight, because human beings crave connectivity. So I challenge all of you all, whether it's going to be the Black World Order, right, or whether it's something else, to be a part of something bigger than yourself. You need that. That may be the one key component that you're missing in your business, you're missing in your life, because it ain't got to just be business. It can just be for you as a human being to grow, right? Because like I said, we're going to focus on spiritual development as well, and you can't get to purpose unless you get spiritual. People think that they can. People think that they can. People think that spirituality and religion are two different things. It's not. It's the same. There's no religion that's not spiritual on the planet Earth. When people talk in purpose, they saying, I'm trying to find my spirit. What does my spirit align with? Yet we feel like we have to be doing the opposite of another thing for us to be doing the right thing. And it ain't black and white, it's shades of gray. They blend into each other. But you feel like you need, no, I'm not like that person. Yes, you are. Y'all more similar than y'all are unalike. You don't even realize it. But we so ignorant that we think that we have to oppose things to be for things. It's not the reality. It's better to be connected than disconnected. Right? So in the spiritual alignment that we're going to teach, it is going to help you not only just, find what you are aligned with mentally and spiritually, because one of the things that we focus on in the BWO is how can you know yourself at all degrees, right? How do you know your human design, your personality type? How do you know your master numbers, right? How do you know all of these different things from your goddamn astrology, if that's what you believe in? Whatever information that you need, we're going to make sure that you are able to create a file upon yourself so that you can use this information, because nobody will come into the Black World Order without leaving with knowledge of self. Not only that, my brother Jehu will be leading the physical component, because when you're physically fit, you become more confident. When people do tours, they got to work out because they have to be able to keep up with the demand. Right? It can be exhausting. So you can be exhausting yourself because you don't want to do the work because physically you don't feel like it. But if physically you have energy, it makes you work harder, it makes you do more. You don't. It's hard to see a person that's hella energized and they depressed too. They hella energized and they lazy too. No. You got all this energy in the world. You happy. You ready to go. So all of these components are necessary. And then when we talk about understanding the world, understanding the history of these money markets, these financial markets is key even into your business, because it lets you know how to use that information to make better decisions, whether you want to be a trader, whether you want to do business, and not only that, the communication aspect. So this is a transformative experience that you go through. That's what this is all about. It's a transformation. Like when I teach my communication class, right? I'm a great communicator, and being able to communicate increases all areas of life, especially all of your relationships. And this is key, because if you learn how to form great relationships in life, you already are going to have a better life. You can't get to the highest levels without good relationships. I just want you to understand that, because the world is ran by people. So if you don't have relationships with people, it's not going to work. And you can't develop good relationships with people without good communication skills. So fostering relationships, learning how to communicate, this is all part of the process of business development. This is all part of the process of building wealth. You don't know how to ask for help. You don't know how to give help. These is not good things. You don't know how to listen. The reason that it's very hard for a person to debate with me on anything, because I'm going to listen to them more than I'm going to speak. So therefore, I'm always going to have the advantage, because I can communicate clearer, because you're not listening to me as much in the first place to even hit all of the points that need to be targeted in order for your perspective to be superior. But see, we gotta want to become masters in order to become masters. If you feel like you're ready, anybody can get these hats. Anybody can wear these crowns. Go to Crowns 19. Like I said, you ain't gotta be a Christian and wear Christian Dior. Come on, man, it's the same thing. Just put them cosmic symbols on you and walk outside with confidence. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. What you talking about? You understand me? We cosmic beings. What we talking about? What you mean? I'm wearing the cosmic symbols. I'm just saying I'm a ruler in this universe. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying they come from me. I don't come from them. That's all I'm saying. You dig? That's why all these ingredients is inside of me. But we ain't hiding nothing from the people, man. I want every bit of knowledge and information that I have within myself to be given to the people. You understand me? And when you have that, I was talking with my bro Blue Pill, and we was talking about how, we may have ascended to certain levels, right? And our thinking, right? The reason that we see things from, perspective is dimension. So when you see things from a different perspective, you're literally seeing into a different dimension, right? So when I look at anything, I see multiple dimensions. I never look at anything from one dimensional, right? I'm a multi-dimensional being. So a lot of people, they can't understand that because they may be one dimensional, right? You got one thing that you do, one thing that you master, one thing that you focus, one thing that you're under, that you think you are, whatever. That's fine. But I'm multi-dimensional. And so in order to be appreciated, you have to make the people that are under you, or around you, on the side of you, multi-dimensional as well, so that they can see the perspectives and things that you see. Because a lot of people may appreciate my perspective, but they may not see it themselves. But I make people say, I never thought of that. Right? Because I've been through so many dimensions of reality that I bring that back, and that's how I observe the world now. I can't just look at it. It's like, even with the Kanye West shirt, I'm not just looking at the back of the shirt, I'm looking at the front of the shirt. I'm looking at the person who wear it, the times is in, the different ways that people are taking it about. I can't look at things one-dimensional. I don't have that default system. I'm always going to come from multi-dimensional, so I'm always explaining these multiple perspectives that I can see. So I see your perspective, I see this one, I see another one, I see people who challenge mine, I see all the perspectives. So it's dangerous to be one-dimensional in the world. You understand me? Where new dimensions have now opened up. How do I know new dimensions have opened up? Because we can talk into screens. At first, we only had one dimension of communication, talking face-to-face to each other. Then we were able to send letters. We had another dimension. Now we're sending it over time and distance. That was a new dimension of communication. Now we have instant communication, right? It's a new dimension. We're always advancing communication and dimension. Now I don't just talk to one people. You can talk to more than just crowds. You can talk to the world. It could be people from Africa to Brazil to Europe to Antarctica, Alaska. Everybody's tuning in from all different dimensions on this planet Earth. So once you realize that we've already become a global communication as a species, we've become a global communicating species on this planet Earth, but we act local. And so that's why we're not at that level to even understand where we at in reality, because we open up new dimensions, but we act in one dimensional. The moment you start putting your thoughts on social media, you're putting it on a global platform. You may feel local. You feel like all this shit you're doing is local, but you put it on a global platform. So now things have changed. So you may be operating, well, how do I sell to people in my vicinity? Why? You're selling it to the world now. The World Wide Web. Right? That's what they call the internet, the World Wide Web, the WWW. We forget about that. Human beings. And so certain thinkers said, oh, I get it. So that's when you get huge companies like Amazon and Apple, because they didn't create visions for local economies, states, cities, countries. They created it for the world. They created visions for the world because they were going to be using a tool that is for the world. So as entrepreneurs, as business people, as, human beings, we have to open up our minds to become more wide and more expansive. And you're going to find, because let's say that 2% of your sales is coming from Africa, 3% coming from Norway, Denmark, right? Another 1% coming from Brazil. Well, if you want to increase areas within your business, then you would change your marketing so that you can capitalize on markets, you understand me, that you're underserving, but you also getting attention from. So Canada, UK, we headed to the UK at the end of this month to go speak at the Royal Albert Hall, the most prestigious goddamn hall that they have in London. So somebody say shipping is crazy. International mindset comes in. Well, how about you have a center in all of these different places? Well, they said, man, that sounds like a lot. You can reach out to an entrepreneur, ask them if you can use their living room and they can ship for you. Now you're getting local prices. Business problems, business solutions. It's all the same. Every problem has a solution. It's just you have to be able to see the other dimension of that thought. Every thought has multiple dimensions. The moment that you bring in a problem, there is an opposite to that problem, which is called the solution. But it requires you to be multidimensional. Otherwise, you're looking at it from one dimension. So operating from one dimension will have you so stuck on the problem that you never flip over the coin to see the solution. Become solution-based and things change. See, I know a solution for me is I have to stop doing these lives. At a certain point in time, I will have to cut off these lives because I will focus completely on the community. So my solution to grow my community is that I'm only giving my game, my information, my knowledge and education to people who value it, that wants to be a part of that community, and that community grows. But as long as I'm giving this value here, then it devalues the other systems that I have. So I've set a date to end this because I have also a date for my community to grow. Once we got those 10,000 members, I can close it off and focus on developing that community more and more and more and more. Why? Because not only they're going to, it's what they call, I was studying this book and it was talking about, what's the word they use? It's a word they use. Commons. Commons are typically public places, right, that public have access to, that is often funded, right, by the public or government in some kind of way, right? So a library is a common. Everybody get to go in the library, use those books, right? It's funded by the users. It's funded by the government, taxpayer money, right? On college campuses, they had commons. Everybody can go in there and use it. The internet became a common. There's information commons, right? Information commons are where, everybody is pouring in information on the internet. And for YouTube, the way that people continue to pour in information is because by viewing it, people are getting paid, so therefore they put in more information and it becomes like a public utility where everybody has access to it, right? The problem is, a person feels like, well, if I don't see increase or consistency by giving out my information, then I need to change that comment and bring it somewhere else. So, and this is why in the internet, information is not equal, because a person doesn't give all of their information away because they're not incentivized to. So why would I go and spend time to learn to give it away when I can't even afford to spend that time unless people are spending money on the information that I give them from the time spent on it, right? So what you see on the internet, it bottlenecks. It doesn't grow past certain factors because it doesn't incentivize people, right? Now, certain people that have solid platforms, they're incentivized more to do entertainment than they are information, right? Because I can give all the information away, but if it doesn't continue to grow, then therefore I can't continue to do it. So I've studied these big concepts of commons, information commons, internet commons, food commons, things of that nature. So I'll use that in business. How can I create a business that it can become common to where a person feels like, yo, once I join the BWO, I get to have access to everything. They bring in teachers and speakers and trips and all of these different things, right? Think of what's more valuable than YouTube is curation, right? Directly giving you everything that you need, and what you do the same way, like we have it, like Netflix can't be a common. People have to pay for the monthly subscriptions, and if those subscriptions decrease because they are a public platform, people don't see increased profit, then people don't invest their money into it. They pulling that money out, forces them to increase prices, to increase access to what? The platform. So it's not a public common. So when you talking about communities of people selling things on platforms and educational communities, you're creating commons that are funded by the people that are inside that community. And more people that are inside the community, the more access and the more value that a person can add to giving to that community that funds that common. Right? So if we say, okay, well, the funding for this common is $200 a month, but the value of it means that you're getting $200,000 worth, right? Because if there's 1,000 people on that platform and they paying $200, then that's $200,000. So now the founders of that are going to take money from that and say, well, we getting $200,000 to do this, not $200. So what you're getting is the collective funding, right? That you can normally not afford, but now you can get access to because a large quantity of people are adding to the quality of the common. Does that make sense? It's a thought that I'm working on to get people to understand, because we often don't appreciate the realities that we living in right now. When you born in 2022, you taking for granted the things you have access to, these commons you have access to. Our grandparents, great-grandparents, parents did not have access to all these commons. They couldn't pay for access to these commons. They couldn't get it. They couldn't get it. But we've taken for granted that they exist all around us. And instead of looking for ways to give ourselves access to it, we shun them. See, I look at things from different dimensions. I need to study and understand the reality of the world that I'm living in to even appreciate the world that I'm living in. Can't even appreciate it if I don't understand it. I take it for granted because you born in this era, but you like, fool, this era might not exist again. What happens if the new model of social media becomes, instead of giving everybody access to just all your information on, like, this is a public common that is paid for by social media, which is ran by ads, businesses, Mark Zuckerberg, Instagram. I get servers. So I get to come on here for little to nothing, and I get to blast out my message for free. But Instagram adds a button for monetization, and now they add subscriptions. So I have two ways now to change how I monetize. I can say, well, every Saturday, only for subscribers of the 19 Keys page, I'm going live. Nobody else gets to hear it. Like this live, I can now share for my subscribers only. I don't have to share it to the public comment, because those are the people that are directly paying me. So they said, well, and then if I go live, you can look at the value metric of how much you're making to that live directly based on how many people buy badges. So let's say, well, the public got access to it, but they spent $5 on it. So a person, well, my time is more than $5 per hour, so I have to decrease the amount of time that I spend on this. Otherwise, I'm playing myself. So I look at things from that dimension. Or I can say, well, I'm going to do this live to give information to my other comment that people can come into. You understand me? So that now I'm driving traffic to something that's more valuable. So now I'm leveraging rather than trying to get direct payment. And now they told me I got 2 minutes left. So how you use these things matter. The dimensions have opened up when monetization opens up, subscriptions open up. If you have product, service, or business opens up, it changes the dimension on how you're able to use these things. Now we have Web3, which changes the whole dimension on how entrepreneurs can go about the future of business. Man, they don't teach like this, B. They don't teach like this. I'll be giving y'all the game from these thoughts, man. This is just different over here. Because we have to become intellectuals and scholars and mathematicians and scientists and psychologists and sociologists. And, we got to be able to think like this. But they ain't got this. They don't teach this in Harvard. They don't teach this in Oxford. You ain't going to find nowhere on the planet Earth where nobody's ever broke it down like that. So, anyway, I can't wait to see y'all in BWO. We're going to send out a new round of approval letters today. So pay attention. Text BWO to 323-577-6692. Get ready for your transformation. You understand me? Join our common. You understand me? And everybody can have a common place where you have access. You understand me? For transformation. I love y'all for real that appreciate us. Peace, fam.